If you are considering expanding your business to new markets, you're in the right place. Perhaps you want to expand your business into new geographic regions, or maybe you're considering merging or acquiring an aligned business for quick, profitable growth opportunities. Or maybe you're expanding your products and services into new sectors, widening the target businesses that you actually want to serve. So if you're planning to expand your business through market expansion, you need to understand the art of the deal. So today, you are going to receive hands-on support for expanding your business to new markets, including business formation and incubation, operational support, investment advisory services, compliance and business regulation, business continuity and expansion planning, and more. And I could not be more pleased to introduce you to our two experts that will be talking about this today. Omobola is a partner and the head of Africa Trade Practice at Deal HQ Partners. She's a seasoned legal professional with close to 2 decades of experience in corporate and commercial transactions, specializing in international trade and intra-African trade with a deep understanding of the African business landscape. She is a passionate advocate for unlocking the vast potential of the African market and empowering businesses to thrive in the era of African continental free trade. Omobola's experience extends to providing transactional advisory services to a diverse range of clients, and she has a keen eye for detail, ensuring meticulous attraction for her clients. She is the founder and host of the Trading Without Borders podcast, a platform dedicated to disseminating insights and fostering discussions on leveraging opportunities presented by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Her commitment extends well beyond awareness, though. She actively guides her clients through the process of adapting their operations to the AFCTA, conducting market research, providing technical support on export documentation and procedures. Tosin is also a business lawyer with 2 decades of experience. She is well known for her commercial savviness, excellent analytical skills, vast transactional experience, and her relentless desire to add value to her clients through innovative solutions, forward thinking, and attention to details. Tosin is a partner and a lead advisor at Deal HQ Partners, an African and focused transaction advisory firm in Lagos, Nigeria. In 2019, Tosin was named the African Woman of Real Estate by API South Africa, where she is ranked as the leading lawyer in capital markets and financial restructuring, and a global leader in real estate and construction by the Who's Who in Legal. Tosin is a thought leader in finance, real estate, construction, and the capital market space, and she holds, to her credit, several speaking engagements annually, both within and outside the legal industry. She is a regular resource and trainer at the Pan-African University and a member of the adjunct faculty of the Center of Housing Studies University in Lagos, Nigeria, where she teaches business economics under a master's housing program. She is a member of the Institute of Directors, Nigeria, and sits on the board of 3 indigenous Nigerian companies and 2 not-for-profit boards, where her contributions to strategic thinking and governance are greatly acknowledged. Holy cow, do we have 2 remarkable experts with us or what? Tosin, Omobola, thank you both so much for joining us today. We are really, really grateful.
It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Linda. You're doing such an amazing job in the leadership community, and we're not deterred by the numbers. I think that my greatest joy is that we're women here. It's a women-focused group, and you're going to be recording this session. I'm sure it'll add value to a lot of people within the community that are looking to expand internationally, particularly to Africa.
I'm so glad you said that, Tosin. And so let's dive in. So, Tosin, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What's led you to have such passion around helping businesses expand into new markets?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't hearing Linda anymore. So,
Can you not
Linda,
hear?
can you take the question again? I lost you at some point.
Yes, no problem. I'm just interested in learning a little bit about your journey and what's led you to have such passion around helping businesses expand into new markets. So, Tosin, will begin with you, and then I'll ask Mambola the same thing.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you any very nice or interesting stories. I'm just going to say it was absolutely circumstantial. For those of you that are women entrepreneurs in specialized fields like law, I'm sure you will know how nuanced it is to start a business as a woman competing aggressively in a very male-dominated um, industry such as law. So we entered the market, and when we came in, we had a single focus, which was we wanted to be a commercial law firm that was doing law differently. We wanted to come to the market and bring a combination of investment banking knowledge and law, combine them and be able to render and offer that service from a single service point. So that was what we thought we were going to do. And we thought that alone will make us, come into the African market and win. We didn't win. At least not in the first couple of years, right? So the question then was, if we're bringing something value to the market, but the market is unwilling to recognize this new entrant into the market, what then do we do? So that process saw us trying to understand, what was going on in the wider African market. And for those of you that are mapping or tracking the economics of Africa, you would know that there are a few countries where the legal industries or sectors are way ahead of the other markets. And Nigeria is one of them. South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and perhaps Kenya would be leading the pack. So what that meant for us was that we had the rest of the African market to capture. And the question was, if the Nigerian market is so developed and so saturated, what are we going to do? So we had to start looking for entry points into being able to provide the quality of the service that we had to a broader market. And that's how the journey to entering other African markets started. And that saw us, trying to make, entry into the other markets where their legal systems were not as developed. Again, we found when we started the journey that there were so many other people that were looking to do business with Africa. Africa is extremely nuanced. There are more than 3,000 different cultures within the continent alone, and everybody has a distinct way that they do business. So we took that as a value proposition, and the question is, how do we then position ourselves to be able to handhold people and teach them, about the nuances of doing business in Africa? And that's how the whole idea of, expanding into new markets has started. So we are our own first guinea pig. We've learned to do business across Africa, and now we are supporting other people to enter into other countries and other regions to do business.
That's great. Tosin, thank you. So, Mambola, I'm going to jump over to you. And, according to Igor Ansoff, who is the father of strategic management, according to Igor, there are 4 main strategies to fuel meaningful business growth: diversification strategy, market penetration strategy, product development strategy, and market development strategy. That's it. Diversification, penetration, product development, and market development. So the market development strategy is the business growth strategy that involves selling existing products and services into new markets, exactly what Tosin was talking about, often through repositioning those products and services. So what steps should a business owner take to begin mapping out their business growth strategy, Mambola?
Hey, thank you for that, Linda. Just like Tosin said, if you want to enter into new markets, it's just for Africa. Africa is fragmented. There are small, like 54 countries with different fragmented markets. And the first thing you're asking yourself is, what is my goal? Why do I want to expand and enter into a new market? Is it for profitability? Is it business? Is it to acquire new customers or additional customers to what I am for what I currently have? Do you want to collaborate, or do you want them? You're looking for distributors or all of that. So it is in that process then that helps you to determine what sort of entry strategy. You start looking at the entry mode. Is it do I do franchising? Am I going into a new business? Am I partnering into the new business? And then we take this into your market entry strategy. You are looking at different things. You're first of all looking at, let's do country analysis. Just like we had mentioned, Africa is big, it's fragmented. They are different. You are looking at different, what's the target market? For instance, if I want to go into Africa, am I going into West Africa or East Africa or North Africa? We'll do a country analysis. You're looking at mapping out what are the social nuances, what are the economic nuances concerning that country. Moving on from that, you're also looking at customer adaptation. What do I mean by you're looking at the nuances of your, just like Tosin had mentioned, we have different cultures. And if you're going to penetrate or expand into a new market, you need to understand the customers that you want to serve because they are competitors. You have local competitors, local businesses that are serving those customers, and you also have investors, foreign investors. So they are sophisticated products. You are looking at that, like what are these? I need to understand my customers, what do they want? And you're also looking at competitor. What's so different? Why should these new markets? Why should they patronize your products or services? So you need to do an analysis of that. And you're also looking at the sector itself that you want to penetrate. You need to look at do an analysis. What are the trends that are happening in that sector? This then gives you a better view of preparing, like, okay, if I want to go into this market, I've set my objectives and I'm able to address. If I really need to go into can I address their issues, or am I just going to go there and just expand? And I'm not able to penetrate the market. When you have all of this, then that helps you, that guides you in penetrating that market. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so smart, Omobola. Thank you so much. And Tosin, let's hop back to you. One of the most important series of decisions that you can make as a business owner and founder is how to seamlessly move between the early startup phase of your business to a well-managed stage of exponential growth. As businesses enter the growth phase, carefully crafting a market development strategy, how can you help them identify and develop new opportunities to sell current products or current services into new unexplored markets? So in an effort to increase sales, a savvy business owner might want to consider how best to position their products and services in a widening segment of consumers or a brand new market. As you suggested, there are a lot of cultural differences between different areas of Africa, certainly in Europe and the United States as well. So what are some of the first questions that you ask business owners to consider when they're contemplating business expansion? So as they grow into a growth phase and they're crafting a carefully considered market development strategy, how can they ask the right questions to contemplate that business expansion strategy? Tosin, did you hear that?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry, I was still muted. I thought I had unmuted my microphone. Sorry about that. I was saying that one of the things that I always say to people is that there are internal readiness markers and there are external readiness markers that you need to look out for when you are determining whether you are ripe and ready for growth. I think one of the internal readiness markers is whether you have been able to consistently record revenue growth that now supports you to deploy funding towards a new direction of growth. Okay, that's extremely important, right? There must also be market readiness. And what I mean by market readiness is whatever it is that you're trying to bring to market, you must have people that are willing to take that service product. You must have people that are willing to pay for that service or product. You must have people that are willing to pay enough to cover your costs and cover the cost of that expansion, and also, make room for you to be able to make some profit. Okay, it's always best that you also ensure that you have firmly established systems, processes, and structures, because growth by itself can destabilize a business, right? Even though it's a good thing, growth can destabilize a business. So if you've not got a firm grasp of where you are, your current level of operation, it might not be advisable for you to determine that, you want to expand, whether into new markets or even, create new products for an existing market. Another thing that people need to be very conscious about is team readiness. If your team is not ready, I think growth by itself could be significantly disadvantageous to your business, even to the point where you may suffer existential risk. So team readiness is important. The internal team that you have, how prepared are they for this new venture or this new market or this new system? If the internal team is not ready, then you need to spend some time finding the human resources that will allow you or enable you, position for the growth. The other one is availability of expansion capital. Do you have the resources, the financial resources for the growth that you potentially want to take on? And if it's into international markets, you need to also be thinking around foreign exchange, issues. Are you able to meet the costs? And like I always say to people, when you are expanding into international markets, everything that can go wrong will go wrong before you understand, that market and settle in. So you must have the expansion money. You must also have the BS money. Excuse my English. You must have the BS money to deal with all the other things that you won't contemplate that will come up or that will happen. And then the final thing is that you must have technology and innovation readiness. What do I mean by that? What is the technology that will deliver what you want in the market, right? If you have the technology, and it's not just about having the technology, you must be able to pay for the technology, you must be able to use the technology, and the technology must be compatible with the market you're trying to enter. So take, for instance, you are moving from the European market and you're moving into the Americas. There are some differences in technology that you must ensure that you are able to align before you determine that you're going to establish that business direction. So I think those, and then finally I will speak to culture. The biggest thing to consider when you're looking to expand or grow into new markets is culture. Every region, every country, every area is culturally nuanced. So you must ensure that you understand, you spend sufficient time to understand that culture, the way people do business. I was taking a course on doing business in China recently, and we were having a conversation, and one of the people that were on the panel or the faculty were saying to us that in doing business in China, be ready to have and eat loads and loads of dinners. So if you come with your American mindset and you're like, we just want to get down to business, let's just do this, let's sign the contract, that will be a big cultural put off for the Chinese people. They want to do business, but they want to warm into you gradually. They want to get to know you. They want to be able to assess you. They will do business on relationships, not just on competence or capabilities. So it's so important. I cannot overemphasize understanding the culture. And then the final thing, please get a lawyer. Please get a lawyer. Whatever you do, that should be number one, but I put it last. Please get a lawyer. Get a lawyer that understands doing business in that region or in that territory.
Oh my gosh, Tosin, so smart. I mean, just so many nuggets of brilliance in that answer. I can't thank you enough. Loads and loads of notes. Thank you so much. You know, you mentioned technology, Tosin, and Omobola, I'm going to come to you with this question. Technology has definitely made our jobs easier, but as you suggested, Tosin, you know, technology also needs to be anticipated in any kind of business expansion. And technology, in a lot of ways, has made it more difficult to disconnect, sending our work life balance a bit out of whack because we are now on a 24/7 cycle because of technology. The rise in remote jobs, more people working from home, has really made establishing a division between work hours and off hours even more difficult. So, what are some of the signs that you're in need of a work life balance reset as you begin this business expansion initiative, right? It's important that you are constantly paying attention to your current business as you expand the business into new markets, which can be a stretch for a lot of people, that there needs to be business continuity strategy and yet business expansion strategy that you're trying to handle at the same time. So what do you recommend for a business owner and a business founder to be able to balance that with the technology demands on our jobs right now?
Thank you, Linda. I think for me, the first thing is when your business expansion strategy, we need to note the issue of time zone differences because if you're going into a region and which is different from you, and you have like 7 hours difference between your own country or your region to that, then how do you balance with your employees and ensure that no one is overstretched or overworked? So do you want to have some sort of arrangements in between that? Okay, for the people that are, well, maybe it's the staff that are being seconded to that business expansion unit, are they working on a different time unit or time zone from the, so they are not working round the clock trying to meet the demands of the all of everybody? Are there times that you're looking at, okay, you can just send in your work or all of that? Because when you start noticing that you're tired, you're sleeping, then they're no longer, your performance drops. What then happens? So we need to find a way to be able to balance that and sort of help everyone to be able to work around the schedule that fits everyone, whatever time zone or whatever it is that they are. So if there's any, for instance, if there's anyone that's actually somebody is in Africa here and you're expanding to China or something, you need to know that, okay, whatever work that you need to submit or do, if you're doing that, you can send it, their emails, we use, or maybe there are also days that you could work from home and all of that and send in your work, then that can be looked at, or whoever needs to pick that up can also attend to it. But there are times that there may be need, maybe emergency or something is urgent that everybody has to work irrespective of the time zone. Yes, that can happen, but we should try as much as possible to ensure that that is reduced if we can, so that no one is burning out or no one gets burnt out. So we have a way in the firm that we have days that we work from home. We utilize we have virtual work provisions and all of that. So those are sort of solutions or ways that a business can look in maximizing time or preventing using technology to prevent burnout. Or yes, thank you, to bring it about work-life balance. Thank you.
Yeah, such smart considerations, Omobola. Thank you so much. You're right that considering time zone differences is absolutely critical, especially when you have a global business. And Leadership Global, we're very aware of the time zone differences. And often when we do briefings, we offer one in the morning, one in the evening to accommodate Africa and Europe in the morning and Australia and New Zealand in the afternoon. So that's such an important consideration, really understanding the time zones of your team and accommodating for that. Thank you. So Tosin, let me drop back to you and talk about market development strategy for a second. So the market development strategy, when you're considering a business expansion, should allow a business to leverage existing products and services and take them to a different market. That's the whole idea of market development. But it seems like there are a couple different approaches to consider. Number one, catering to different customer segments or a different target demographic in that market, entering into a new domestic market, so regional expansion within the country or within the continent that you currently work in, or entering into a foreign market, so international expansion. All of those are different approaches in the market development strategy. And it seems like before you expand into a new domestic or foreign market, or you decide you're going to cater to a different audience segment, maybe by positioning your product for new uses, can you explain how business owners can begin to identify their biggest development opportunities? So when they're considering, should I market to a new customer segment, a new target demographic? Should I expand into a new domestic market first or move into a foreign market? How do they identify their biggest development opportunities and maybe begin to stair-step their strategy? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Sorry, I was still muted. I think the first thing you need is to understand the internal strengths of your business and try to use that to develop a strategy. It will first of all help you understand what you can do quickly, which I would call the low-hanging fruits. It will help you understand the adaptability measures you need. It will help you understand the markets that you are best suited to and the kind of growth strategy that is suitable for your business or for your own or for your organization. And I like the way that you started with the Ansoff's matrix. So what do you want to do? New markets, same market, new products, old products. Where do you want to find yourself, on that divide, right? So it starts from internal first. What have I got? What have I got to offer? And where is the next best place that I can go? And when I go there, what do I want to offer them? So I always say to people, start with an audit of your strengths, understand your business and the strengths that your business has and what you can offer, and then use that to determine what that strategy should be for you. Is it new product? Is it new market? Is it a combination of both? Okay, so what I would typically advise people to do is when you do the internal audit, the next thing is develop that strategy. When you've developed it, you need data for whatever you're doing. I remember once I was having a conversation with someone and I was saying to them that, it's important for you to sell what people want to buy. So that's the first rule in business. Is there a need for whatever it is you want to do? So if, for instance, it's a new product, the question is, what is the purpose of the new product? Who does it serve? Do they feel like they have a need for that product? What is the cost of manufacture? The market you're targeting, can they afford to pay for it? Do they value what you're doing? I remember once a client said to us that we were over-serving them. And sometimes as business owners, we are so driven by, our own sense of need or what we want to accomplish that we don't remember that whatever you're doing, you're creating for a market. So the question is, what is your analysis of what the market needs? Sometimes you will find that there is a market that needs what you're offering, but cannot afford to pay for it. But you're a business. If you're a business, the fact that I fancy and I like sunglasses does not necessarily mean that that's the business I should be doing. I can pick up a hobby of manufacturing sunglasses, just for my personal use, but I'm sure I will not put in so much financial resources into that if there is no market for it. So the first thing is for you to understand where the market is, and that whatever you're bringing to market, it is being viewed the same way you are viewing that product or that service. Otherwise, there's going to be a major disconnect. You must also understand the nature of customers, right? You must understand the nature of customers. It's not static. The market and the culture and the expectations of customers is consistently changing. So your business must also be adapted to a consistently changing market. Okay, very important. Very, very important for you to know. The other thing is, what is the unique difference that you're bringing to the market? Because there's nothing that you are doing that there isn't somebody else somewhere in the world that is doing it.
Right.
So how do you differ from whoever else is in the market, right? And your setting out your unique difference could be by product. It could be by the way the product looks. It could be the segment of the market you are targeting. There's several ways that you can differentiate yourself. So where is the difference, right? What is that unique thing that you're bringing to the market? Another thing that I think that we need to also be conscious about, particularly for those that are looking to where your expansion strategy is aligned with a new market, or you're looking to go international, it's very important that we don't underestimate the difference in laws, regulations, and processes in those new markets. You will be shell-shocked how different, the way we do things in one country will differ from the way you do things in another country. Even in the USA, I mean, different states have different laws and processes for doing business. I mean, you will be doing yourself a disservice if you did not understand that laws and regulations will differ. So what are those big things that I think you should be looking at? Taxation, so important. What is the tax structure in that place or that market? I mean, how does it work? Another thing is trade. How is trade settled? How do these things work? Do they have a culture of buy and pay later? Do you have, I mean, in Africa, a lot of people sell things, and they even vehicles, automobiles, and you have to pay cash upfront, So what is the culture of trading in some of those places? Employment practices is another one. How do you find talent? What are the practices? In some countries, they need to take 60 days of maternity leave, which you must walk into the arrangement. In some countries, there's nothing like paternity leave. In some other places, you would have to give paternity leave. So how much of, that do you understand? What are the employment processes? The other one is intellectual property. A lot of people make the assumption that when they go into a new market, they don't need to protect their IP. But it is so critical to understand that the process for preserving and protecting intellectual property in one side of the market may be different from, and people don't know that IP is one of the biggest assets that any business has, because that is what gives you your identity as a business. So I think, that's important. The other thing I would talk about is governance. The political environment. What do you know about the political environment? How do the government agencies, how do they function? How do they operate? You cannot do business without interacting with government agencies, departments of government, and all of that. What is the process? What is the process for getting information? In Africa, for instance, you are unlikely to enter a web address into your computer and get information readily available to you. What does that mean? You need local on-ground partners that can validate and verify information for you. If you know that, then your expectation will not be to sit in your New York office and expect that I want to do something in Africa. I'm just going to get on the website. I'm just going to find information, and I'm going to pay somebody money, and I'm going to get it done. I mean, It's not going to happen like that. And of course, we still have currency as a big concern. Wherever you're doing business, if you're not in the Eurozone where majority of them are using the same currency, you're in America and you're looking to do business in China, you're going to have to use, local currency. You're going to have to exchange currency. What does that do for your business? What does it do for your operations? And finally, depending on the political environment there, you need to also consider issues around business expropriation. There could be laws that can be passed that will put your business in jeopardy. So you must understand, the jurisdiction that you're working in. What can the government do and get away with? How can they, make policies that would impact your business? I don't want to go personal, but we know what is happening in the technology space. With the US passes a law for for microchips, and it's had a major issue on the entire Asian market because they cannot get microchips for their technology and innovation and development and all of that. I mean, you need to be thinking about, all of that and be able to effectively insulate your business from risk. I think I'll stop there so that we don't, stay on this for too long.
Could
I hope that helps.
Have a university class for a year on this. I'm so grateful for all of your knowledge and your insight, and I'm so grateful for all of the incredible nuggets that we're taking from this conversation. I mean, currency exchange, just one small point you made, is so critical for consideration. Even in Leadership Global, we are always adjusting our pricing based on currency exchange because we want to be equitable to all women around the world, no matter what currency that they operate with, right? Now, one more question, then we'll open it up to a discussion. So, Omobola, I'm going to ask this about for you. If your product has started small, expansion into a national or international area may make sense for your market development. It may make sense to expand the market that you're in. I know that Deanna is doing that. She works and lives in Italy, and she's expanding her services outside of Italy to all of Europe and the United States. If identifying and developing new market segments is part of your preferred strategy, careful consideration needs to be made around, and in both you and Tosin have noted this, whether or not you have enough resources to expand into a new market, whether your market will ultimately be successful in this new environment, whether the market is going to be valuable enough to put resources, budget, and effort into expanding in that direction. And lastly, whether potential new market is already saturated or whether you can gain market share and actually stay competitive, right? So those are just four of the considerations, but you and Tosin both have offered a lot of incredible insight around the considerations for business owners and business founders to consider before they move into a market expansion strategy. So how do you help business owners and business founders begin to consider these factors in order to make a wise decision about how and when to expand into a new market? How do you walk them through the process of determining if they have enough resources to expand, if their product will be successful, if the market is going to be valuable enough, right? If they're going to have enough return on the investment for their resources and budget. And then lastly, whether the potential new market is already saturated or if they can gain market share and stay competitive.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I think just like you had mentioned, we've covered some of it, but what we can also look at in terms of resources, if you're looking at, let's say you don't have your resources when you do the analysis and you can't expand into the new market, are you looking at exploring further within your own local market to be able to see if you can then you get profitable and then you can come up with expansion strategies later, not necessarily at that moment. And you're also looking at a way, if we want to expand as well, can we look at ways maybe unsaturated or unexplored markets? what do we intend? Because if the market is too saturated, can we then start looking at zones of countries that have not yet been explored, or that product or service will be useful in that place? Then we can see about how to expand into that country. We start doing the analysis in respect of regulations, governance, the country analysis, and all of that. Because there's really no point in you saying you want to expand, then you stop halfway because you are stranded, either because due to lack of resources or the products at the end of the day you don't get to sell, or you can't provide the service because the competitors there are probably, should I say, squeezing you out, and you don't have the resources to deal with what the competitors are. Because for them, if you come in and they see, oh, this product is going to like sort of overtake the market, then they have the resources to go all out and find a way to get to get their own product in and take yours out. So you're looking at all of that. And so when what do we then do after looking at, just like I mentioned, I've spoken about looking at your local market, then looking unexplored and unexplored areas. Then what do we then, if we look at that and see that we can move in, then you start taking steps into developing your market entry strategy for maybe the target market that you want to go into. And like I mentioned earlier, you do your analysis in respect of the sector, in respect of customer adapting your products to what the customer needs. Like you don't just go into, like, Africa is 54 countries. Even within Nigeria, you can't serve everyone the same. Whether we can't serve somebody in Western Nigeria the same way you're going to serve somebody in Northern Nigeria. So you're going to have different strategies for different zones or different regions within it. So if we say, oh, we are okay, this product, we have done our analysis and it's going to move in Nigeria, then how can we serve different people or different segments of the society and ensure that you move? Because if somebody says, oh, I prefer luxury products, and you do some sort of, should I call it general products, and you take it to an area where they're dealing in premium items or premium services or product, it might not move, it might not sell there. Or you take a luxury or premium product into an area where you should have, should I call retail or general products out there, and you take it there, then it's not going to sell, because at the end of the person looking at, oh, I like this, but I can't afford it. So it's just going to be there. You need to look at all of that. Same way it is in Africa. Like if you want to take your product to West Africa, there are nuances, there are differences within West Africa, Northern Africa, or East Africa, and all of. So your market entry strategy must be really tight and cover this area, so you are so you're successful and you don't lose market share, or you don't just become stranded away and then decide that you want to leave, or the business wasn't successful. And you need to also prepare for risk anyway. Yes, there are significant opportunities, but there are still risks in all of this. So you're looking, just like Tosin mentioned, you're looking at political risk and infrastructural risk as well. So there are some of infrastructural challenges within Africa. So you need to protect. How do you edge against the risk that your business is likely to face? Yeah. So that needs to be crafted in your strategy as well.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much, Omobola. That's right. I mean, such important insight. Thank you so much.